It was the same every single morning. The sleek black luxury car stopped outside the little corner cafe just after sunrise. The sharply dressed billionaire stepped out, ordered nothing more than a simple cup of black coffee, quietly smiled at the exhausted waitress, and left the exact same $10 tip every day. Rain or sunshine, holidays or ordinary weekdays, the amount never changed. People assumed he was generous. Others believed it was simply a rich man's habit. But nobody knew the real reason. Not even the waitress whose life was slowly falling apart. And when she finally gathered the courage to ask why he always left exactly $10, the answer would uncover a promise made many years ago. A promise that would change both of their lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness always finds its way back, and that second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone you care about, and subscribe to the Kindness Project for more heartwarming stories that remind us humanity is still alive. Every morning before dawn, Marin unlocked the old cafe while the streets were still wrapped in soft blue light. She was only 29, but exhaustion had already painted faint lines beneath her eyes. She balanced 2 jobs, cared for her aging grandmother, and struggled to pay medical bills that seemed to grow faster than her paychecks. Her dreams of becoming a pastry chef had quietly disappeared years earlier when life demanded sacrifice instead of ambition. Yet every customer received the same warm smile because she believed people deserved kindness even when she had little left for herself. Among all the regular customers, one man remained the greatest mystery. His name was Alistair Rowan, a technology billionaire whose face often appeared in business magazines. Despite his immense wealth, he never ordered expensive drinks or demanded special treatment. He arrived at exactly 7:15 every morning, accepted his black coffee, thanked Marin sincerely, placed $10 beside the receipt, and left without another word. The cafe employees created countless theories. Some insisted he barely noticed the money. Others believed he secretly liked Marin but lacked the courage to admit it. A few even joked that perhaps $10 was his lucky number. Marin laughed with them, but deep inside she wondered why such a successful man repeated the same quiet ritual every day without fail. Weeks became months, and life grew harder. Her grandmother's health worsened. Hospital visits became more frequent, and sleep became a luxury. Some mornings Marin wanted to break down behind the counter, but every sunrise demanded another smile. Curiously, seeing that familiar black car arrive each morning brought a strange sense of comfort. The predictable $10 tip reminded her that at least one thing in life remained constant. One rainy morning, everything seemed determined to fall apart. A pipe burst in the cafe kitchen, customers complained about delayed orders, and Marin received another call from the hospital requesting an expensive treatment her grandmother desperately needed. She held back tears as she served coffee with trembling hands. When Alistair placed the usual $10 bill beside his cup, she couldn't stop herself anymore. She politely asked the question that had lived in her heart for nearly a year. She wanted to know why the amount never changed. Why exactly $10? Why every single day? Alistair became unusually quiet. His eyes drifted toward the rain sliding down the cafe window, as though he had been waiting for someone to finally ask. After a long pause, he gently explained that many years earlier, before anyone knew his name, he had been a frightened college student with empty pockets and enormous dreams. One freezing winter morning, he entered this very cafe unable to afford breakfast. A young waitress noticed his embarrassment and secretly paid for his meal. Before he left, she slipped $10 into his hand and told him that one day, if life became kind to him, he should never forget how hopeless that morning had felt. Years later, after building his company, he returned to the cafe hoping to repay the kindness. But the waitress was gone forever. Since then, he had left the same $10 tip every morning, believing that perhaps another struggling worker might receive the encouragement she once gave him. It was never about the money. It was about remembering that even the smallest kindness could rewrite someone's future. Marin stood speechless. Tears blurred her vision as she realized how closely the story mirrored her own life. She had spent years believing her work barely mattered. Yet here stood one of the world's most successful men telling her that a waitress had changed everything simply by choosing compassion. The next morning Alistair returned as always. But something had changed. Instead of seeing a tired woman barely surviving another shift, he saw someone standing a little taller, smiling a little brighter. Marin had remembered why she loved serving people. She began saving every extra dollar, refusing to surrender her dream of becoming a pastry chef. Several months later, Alistair quietly visited the cafe owner with an unexpected proposal. He offered to fund a culinary scholarship for hardworking restaurant employees chasing forgotten dreams. There was only one condition. The scholarship would never carry his name. Instead, it would honor the unknown waitress whose $10 had once rescued a desperate young man. Marin became the very first recipient. Within 2 years, she graduated from culinary school and eventually opened a beautiful neighborhood bakery where every customer received warmth instead of judgment. Hidden beside the register rested a small wooden box filled with $10 bills. Whenever someone quietly admitted they couldn't afford a meal, Marin simply smiled, handed them food, and tucked one of those bills into their hand with a gentle reminder that someday, when life smiled upon them, they should pass the kindness forward. The tradition spread farther than anyone imagined. Customers who had once received help returned years later to donate anonymously. The bakery became known not for expensive desserts, but for invisible acts of generosity that no newspaper ever fully captured. Special request: before this story ends, please comment one word below: kindness. Let's fill the comments with hope and remind the world that even the smallest act of generosity can change a life. As the sun rose over the city one peaceful morning, another customer quietly left exactly $10 beside an empty coffee cup. No one asked why anymore. They already understood that the greatest fortunes are not measured by billions in a bank account, but by the number of lives forever changed through simple acts of love. Sometimes, the smallest gift carries the biggest miracle, and sometimes, a single $10 bill becomes the beginning of a story that echoes through countless hearts for generations.